Hey there, good morning, happy Sunday. Today, some revelations seem to be coming to me that may or may not be correct, but I'm going to share them anyway because I'm permitted to do that under the Constitution, especially um, in the United States. So I'm glad I'm here. There's a problem today in America, and it's the hiding of this horrible weapon that does nothing good for anyone. It could do some good things. They could use it in a court of law to act as a lie detector. They could also use it to find missing children. They could also use it to stop human trafficking. Those are just a couple of the many uses that this weapon could have that's being used for destruction right now. There are many reasons why the government wants to keep it secret. I believe it's the killer weapon that's causing COVID. I took a stab at what actually activates the testing swab to show a positive response, because it isn't a virus that you can catch that's triggering it. It is my belief, with the evidence of the metals found in chemtrails, that it was all only a matter of time, since all plants and animals we eat contain the metals too inside of their bodies, that it built up enough in our systems to trigger a positive test for the amount of metal, and the government just calls it COVID, covering up the truth. Why would the government want to do this? I think they want to fill us up with the metals so that we are more receptive or conductive with remote neural monitoring. The government told on itself by allowing statements like, "We will be able to control everything on the planet." Well, that includes people too. So the only way to do that is through inhalation and digestion of the metals over an extended period of time. The only sustained project of significant length is the cooling of the atmosphere, with creating clouds or jet plumes of the metal dust high up in the atmosphere, which of course all falls down to the surface, where it gets into our water and our soil and all living organisms, and soaked up through the roots of trees. Yeah. Some scientist needs to do a quick experiment or two to see if there are any reactions of the metals to directed microwave radiation, because that would be conclusive evidence that the metals have a purpose of controlling us. Some of the metals may have magnetic properties, while others, like some nanotechnology, may grow or expand when applied with a beam of the government's favorite part of the entire light spectrum, microwaves, because they are invisible and are interactive with the human body. But don't tell anyone, because it's a secret. That's why the cellular industry has been allowed to use the same study from 1954 that indicates that microwave radiation is safe and that it only has a thermal radiation effect. Well, there are other radiation effects that microwaves have. It's just not heat. But it's interesting to think of. It's interesting to think this all through, because if I'm correct, it leads to other answers that I'm close to finding. but I'm not quite there yet. Hopefully you're having a good morning. I have reached out to some friends I haven't talked to in a long time, and we're just waiting to hear back. And journaling today. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully I'll be able to get out and enjoy it. It is so quiet in my neighborhood right now. It's really, really quiet. More quiet than I've heard it in a long time. And it's not cold, so you'd think people would be kind of outside. Not really. I am. I'm sitting out on the front porch enjoying the sunshine. Hopefully, Officer Montgomery, who I had a conversation with yesterday, will pass along the report number I gave him to a detective, because there's important information that I've got that the police would be very interested in knowing, instead of saying that everything's a delusional belief, which is going to get them into a lot of trouble. So, while I wait for them to begin to freak out and want to do something to me, I get to sit here and enjoy thinking about that. I've got to file charges with the police department, and I do not want to do it alone, because I might make a mistake. I'm not sure how involved it is to file the charges, but one mistake on the paperwork would get the whole case thrown out. I've spent too much of my time and energy and money, because it costs money to live. And this is going on 2.5 years. Many of my friends, in fact, just about all, are convinced I am mentally ill. You stupid motherfuckers. You should listen to your friend Rem, who always tells the truth. I've had people ignore me the last couple of days. I'll continue to reach out until a point, because then I'll just stop and you'll just not hear from me again. And that'll be that. Because I don't take people being very rude to me kindly. If I'm a friend of yours and I reach out to you, I expect a response, because that's the way that friends behave. Patty Ryan has ruined my life, and the shit's about to hit the fan. You all don't believe that. You think I'm bothering her. You tell me to leave her alone. I'm not leaving alone the woman that ruined my life. And you'll find that out. There were 3 incidents in the last half of the conversation I've had with her on Halloween, and I just want to share those right now. At the 13-minute and 52-second mark, I said, "They didn't show me any ID." Patty pauses, but starts to speak and then stops. I spoke with Joanne, and she said that Patty had their card, their business card, but said in our meeting she didn't. Joanne might have it and would check, is what Patty told me. That was Monday. It's now Sunday, 6 days later, and I have not heard. So I'm about to make a text and send it off to her and ask her about that, and also the other thing, which is if she's informed the police yet of the imposter's status. At the 14-minute and 3-second mark, quote, this is Patty, I asked them where they came from. They said they had an office down on the south end. That statement conflicts with a 911 transcript in 2019, where Patty says why they were there when asked by the dispatcher for the 911 operator. She said, because he drove to Washington, D.C. with his computer to share with the president information that was on his computer, and the Washington police arrested him. So those two stories are conflicting. Another part that's really difficult to swallow is the fact that in the 911 tape, Patty says, the men followed me back to Ohio. What were they doing in D.C. then? Because if they have an office on the south end, you can't be two places at once. So which one is it? At the 20-minute mark and 45-second mark, I talk about Patty having the neighborhood meeting with the only driver carrying a stack of papers up to her property. Her living room was full that evening, and people walked from all around, and nobody was carrying a dish. So I also heard the same conversation coming out of different houses as I walked around the block, frustrated. Patty said, I don't remember that, and I can't remember. So, what that means, since she can't remember, I'm going to need to rely on people who do remember. And I know just the property on Mimring to ask, because as I went by their property, I heard the woman say, oh, he's coming! I was walking down the street. There wasn't another car or individual, and the garage light flickered. So, I will call a witness, and that witness will testify under oath about attending the meeting via podcast that was about me. It sucks that Patty Ryan can't tell the truth. She's involved all these people, and everybody is covering for her. Everybody. And I'm getting more pissed at my neighbors every fucking day. And the police, well, they obviously work for the Queen. They don't work for the mayor. They work for the Queen of the Midgard-Woodbine neighborhood. Because whatever she says goes. And she wants me to move. End of story. The same story I've told for years. And you don't believe me. What a shame.